So
Yeah.
we don't want to lose you, Michael. We
Lost, lost cause.
we want you to be here and present with us to talk about your amazing life-changing experience.
I need a show.
You know what?
I need another show. Like, there's just too much to like absorb and to kind of let it yeah, it's just way too much to kind
I
of
can't believe you left it till the end.
I know. I I was a
Bad,
lazy.
bad, bad fan. You should have been going all along.
I should have been going. Yeah, I should have. I should have. My partner found last minute tickets last night. They were actually quite. They weren't like cheap, but they were like fine. I should have done that on one of the earlier nights and just kind of just tracked it. And so at least I would have had 2 nights to kind of really let it rest. The seating that I was in last night wasn't it wasn't perfect. It was good,
Oh,
but
well,
there were
hold on,
moments.
hold that thought. Well, let's kick off the show properly, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
You're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone. I am your celebration tour correspondent, Stefan, and today on the show, we have Michael, who attended Madonna's final show of Europe in London last night at the O2 Arena. Welcome back to the show, Michael. This is not your first time at the rodeo.
It's not my first time at the rodeo. Thanks for having me back on. It's
I, I'm glad we could make it happen.
oh, me too, absolutely.
So, for everyone listening, you might recognize Michael's voice. He is the male spoken word portion of last season's theme song, We Love Madonna. We Love Madonna is currently streaming on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to music. We Love Madonna, sung by our heavenly hostess with the mostest, Liberty King, on lead vocals. And I was going to do the spoken word, and my voice was just not doing it for me when I was producing that song. And so I thought to myself, what do we need? What would Madonna do in this moment? She'd get someone with an accent. So
A
I
bad accent.
so I messaged Michael and said, Michael, would you record these couple of spoken word lines? He turned it around within like 5 minutes, and he is what you hear on the finished song. Um, it was perfect. You did such a perfect job.
Thank you. That was, you're speaking of COVID, that was like the tail end of that last like big lockdown that we had in London. So I was indoors a lot. And I remember filming that kind of being stuck inside. So yeah, that was kind of a full circle moment.
It was your it was a perfect like homage to Physical Attraction, Justify My Love, erotica vocals. Like you did a really solid performance.
Thank you. Thanks. I mean, Justify My Love is one of my favorite songs. If we can get that, more of that from her, I'm at, yes, yes, all of that.
So yeah, so go listen to We Love Madonna and you'll hear Michael, all I need is you to make it right. It's so good. It's so good. And the push, push my love. It's so good. I mean, I'm patting myself on the back for how I sequenced your vocals in that section, but like it's so good. I listen to it all the time and I'm like, I love how it sounds.
You laid it really, really well because it was like there's like the way that the pushes were kind of staggered almost over each other, and they were almost, you kind of took my voice down like I think a notch to almost make it feel like a bit of a whisper, like I was whispering it, like I was in a dark room or something. Madonna would have been proud. It would have done Mama proud.
That's what we hope that she might have heard this song. Um, so Madonna in London. It was your first time seeing Celebration. What did you think?
I mean, like I was saying, it's just there's so much to digest with this show. I think I need another show. I didn't get to the earlier ones a couple of months back, but it's insane. There's just so much going on. And I think you come out and she gives you that little 80 segment. And then I think from like Live to Tell onwards, it's just like this constant assault of the senses. It is incredible. I think for her to do what she's doing at this time in her career, where she could just be like doing kind of cover albums of Swedish bands, she's kind of chosen not to do that. Uh, Because she's mean. I love that tidbit. I love that tidbit. That was so so good. But no, the tour was fantastic. I think um like every song had a moment. That's kind of what that was. Again, that kind of 80 segment feels almost a little like it's fun, but it almost felt like a little disjointed to the rest of it because every single song after that had its own time to truly shine. It's incredible.
What were your standout moments from the show that you was there parts that you were like, oh my God, yes.
Most of it. I think for me, I've I got to the point where when all the spoilers were coming out, I looked at the set list. I saw a couple of performances, and then I saw Bedtime Story, and I wish I had seen that completely unspoiled. So when I saw that, I was very much about like I might see a tidbit here and there, but I kind of stopped watching anything for longer than a few minutes. So I was incredibly surprised by so much, but I was really
Oh, hold on. Your sound cut out on me.
sorry. I think my give me 2 seconds.
Oh, is your phone dying?
My no, my earphones I think are connected to
Oh, technical difficulties. We'll just talk while Michael is fixing his technical difficulties. Right now, we're staring at his living room. I can see there's a dusty pillow sitting against the couch. It's a dark hunter green. There's also a couple jackets hung in a
sorry.
slipshod manner on the hooks behind him.
How embarrassing. Interlude, my bad. My no, it's randomly connected to my earpods, which was the audio connected to my earpods in my bedroom, which was the other side of the house. But here
Oh,
we are.
that's okay. We got to play Where's Waldo with what's going on. No Madonna artwork behind you, by the way.
Yeah, there is. There's one over there, the true blue one with her
Oh, with the
with the crown
crown.
on.
Oh, and look at that
Yeah.
snazzy bike. Do you bike to work?
I do not. That's all Alex's. That's my partner's. We're just in the middle.
Oh,
We've just moved in. We moved in a week ago, so everything's kind of like slowly settled in terms of furniture and stuff. We're not quite
please.
finished it
I
yet, but
moved into my house in June and I still have boxes all over the place.
it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? I'm comfortable. That's all. That's all we. I've got Madonna on my wall, so that's all I care about.
That's all we need. That and a ring light, right? A good ring light, which I don't have.
Yes. Yeah. Well, next time. You now you know what to ask for Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sorry. Go ahead. You were talking and the sound cut out.
No, I think I was most surprised from this first segment by Burning Up. The way she kind of delivered it and performed it was like, I mean, we've seen her kind of guitar it before, but it was proper like she spat at the audience, she gave her speech, she did the full song, it was like she gave that one its own kind of moment. I think from there, I think almost every other performance was like insane. I think Live to Tell really struck a chord. I think the way she delivered that was amazing. And then going into like Erotica and Justify My Love, I hadn't seen almost any of that. So that for me was all brand new, like the orgy, the way that they kind of set all of that up was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Um, what else was there? Then we kind of led on into Bad Girl, which was incredible. The Vogue section I thought was a little bit messy. I think she
Oh,
looked incredible, but I thought there was a couple of times if there's any kind of criticism, and there's not much of it at all, but the few times that I thought the show kind of it just devolved into dances everywhere, just doing different things, and it was just people, and then it kind of came together and got tight again. But I think Vogue was one of the few performances that got lost by just people being around. They were obviously Vogue, they were part of a ball. They were trying to create that atmosphere, but with like a dozen dancers, you can't really create a whole balls kind of atmosphere. So it just kind of felt like lots of people were shouting and kind of all over the place until they then got into the runway segment when they were giving her the tens and the scores and
yeah,
all
yeah,
that, which
yeah.
was really, really fun. Um, but then from there, it kind of was just like hit after hit after hit in terms of like performance. It was incredible. Obviously, Bedtime Stories, Die Another Day, I think is probably one of the best performances I've seen at a show. I said it to you in London 2 weeks ago. I'll say it again. We need to see Witch Donna. We need to see Witch Donna. I want the long hair, the swamp witch kind of energy, the all black, the sigils, the symbols. I want all of that.
Yeah, that I love that outfit.
That was incredible. And then she comes out, and obviously the "Don't Tell Me" outfits underneath it, and then we get the song, the choreography, which is probably some of the strongest choreography of the night. And then we get her incredible speech last night. She kind of lent into politics, but didn't, name names or kind of call out anyone in particular. It was a show about, I think it was the mother's speech, which I think she's kind of lent on quite a lot, which was really great. Um, I posted that and sent that to my mum afterwards. Actually, she loved it. And then after that, it was what bedtime stories, incredible. And then we got into Ray Light, which was probably my favorite performance of the night. Just
Oh,
the energy
nice.
was, yeah, just it was so cool to see that live and just to see her like let loose like that. Um, and then we got the the MJ interlude, the unwanted MJ interlude, um, which I mean, my friends called it and said, she's trying to compare herself to him and show that they're peers, which they absolutely are, the king and the queen of pop. I would have loved if that moment was a homage to the Britney kiss, and then they lent into the actual song, and then they lent into musical celebration. That kind of segued into all of that. But I actually did like Bitch I'm Madonna. I actually thought that was actually really fun.
Yeah,
She was having a lot
it's
of fun with
cheeky.
it.
It's cheeky fun. Yeah, yeah. How was the crowd? Were they really into it?
She said they were quiet. So she came out and she said, when she was giving her speeches, she was like, "Y'all are really quiet tonight, but every time I mention London, y'all go crazy." But she did mention they were quiet. I thought they were quite an old crowd. I don't know if it was because it was the last one of the shows to kind of come out, and maybe most of the tickets had already been purchased, or like the fans had kind of done what they'd had to on the first few shows, thinking that was all that was available. The show
Mm-hmm.
that I was on was a sellout, but it did, I think, take the longest to sell out. So just, I think, in terms of the crowd, it did feel like an older crowd around me anyway, where I was. But there was lots of like people dressed up. It was
Oh,
fun. It,
fun.
it looked like a fun show. Yeah, yeah. It was, everyone was kind of doing their thing, but it wasn't the craziest of crowds that I've been in.
Yeah. Well, it was also a Wednesday.
It was a Wednesday. There were plenty of fucking drunk people, though, mind you. There were a lot around me in my area. Like everyone was slurring by the end of the show. People were jumping on each other. Like it was, it was a very drunk British crowd. It was great.
And you didn't
Actually,
after party. You didn't after party, did you?
no, I didn't have to party. I'm Alex and I. We did have a he did have a drink at one of the local bars because getting onto the tube was absolute carnage. At that time, like the lineup was huge, so we just thought we'd wait it out, have a couple of drinks, and at one of the local bars, and then we ended up going home a bit after that. So, but
And
by
were
the
you
time we got home,
was it filled with Madonna fans?
the tube, yeah, we actually made a couple of friends. There was a couple of other gay couples on the way home that we all like were chatting about, comparing notes and talking about the show. It was actually really really cool. So,
Oh, that's fun. And I see that you bought Dita.
with Dieter, of course.
Yeah, we're
Dieter.
both wearing
This
our
is
Dita t-shirts. Yes.
this is my absolute. I mean, the merch was interesting. Sorry, the merch was the merch, but I just felt like it was. This was the coolest one of all the bits.
Oh,
Yeah,
now I've lost visuals of Michael. Well, we're just technologically challenged tonight, aren't we?
we are. We really are. Sorry.
Sound, pictures. We're keeping you on your toes.
I'm keeping you on your toes. I apologize.
That's all right. It's all right. So question, what song do you wish she would have included but did not?
Um, I think the mother father segment could have been a rotating song moment that she kind of could have done a few different. I get the sentiment and I think it was beautiful, but if she's going to do deep cuts and if just for selfish reasons, I would have loved the rescue me moment. I think that
Oh
would have
yeah,
been
I
great.
think we were talking about that in London. I think you
Hmm
were like you've been
I
saying
never.
you've been saying rescue me for months.
I've been saying that in Bella, but that's just never going to happen. So I think Rescue Me is the likeliest chance that we're going to get then a deep and Madam X cut, which is like, down in the doldrums. But I would have, I mean, Sanctuary would have been another one, that could have fitted in beautifully. Like that whole, because she was the show's all about transitions, right? And they were done seamlessly in this show for the most part. That would have been so cool, even if she just gave us a touch, that spoken word part at the beginning, just like she did with In This Life into Live to
Right.
Tell. Like that would have been beautiful, but I mean, there were so many ifs, whatevs, all of that. I think she's very aware of her discography. I think at this stage, but she chose what she wanted to choose. I think, and I think she did an incredible job. I do not envy her. That would have been so hard to pick from your catalog that is just so expansive. It's wild.
What did you think of the messaging of the show? What do you if Madonna was to turn to you and be like, what do you think the show's about?
She asked us that. She
Oh, did
asked
she?
us that. She's like, do you get it? Do you get what this show is about? Do you get what I'm about? She goes, anyone, what did she say? Anyone can kind of have an orgy and then kind of have the what was it? The religious element like buttered up next to each other. She goes, that's essentially kind of what I'm about as an artist. She goes, and I wouldn't be doing it, if what I was wanting to say had changed and people were doing what I wanted to say, I wouldn't be up here still doing what I do because we've still got a long way to go. Um, I think the message, given that it's a celebration of her career, I think, that I think kind of came through the most.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bit taken aback by the way that she was kind of very much walking around the stage. And this is why I need to see it twice, right? Because there was moments between segments where she would walk around the stage, and it felt a little bit weird just to see her walk, given that there's a high intensity. But I don't think that's got actually anything to do with her lack
Did
of
you
movement.
want her to run around the stage?
Well, no, I think it's because, I mean, if that was a confessions donor, if that was different kinds of setups would have looked differently depending on the tour. But I don't think it's because of an age thing or a movement thing, because when she was in her pocket, she was definitely in her pocket and she did such a great job. But I definitely think there was almost like a dream. It's like a dreamlike sequence. It's almost harkens back to Madame X, like going back to 17 and having that trip. And I feel like this is kind of the trip that Madame X or that Medellin kind of line implies. It almost, because she was walking into things, it felt like she was like moving into them in this like dreamlike state, in this ethereal state.
Yeah.
So I thought that actually this is almost like her, it's almost like a trip. This is like a
Right.
trip, not just down memory
Traveling,
lane.
traveling, leaving logic and reason. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And it kind of very much had this ethereal energy throughout the entire show, which I thought was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost when I saw that she was doing bedtime stories, I thought that's a weird song for her to trot out on this tour because bedtime story, although it was an amazing video and was a moment as a fan when it came out, didn't really, it wasn't played on radio. It wasn't a big
Mm-mm.
hit per se. And I thought it's interesting that she puts that on there, but I felt that song was very indicative of what she's exploring in the tour where she's traveling through different
Mm-hmm.
moments of her career and I just thought it's very on the nose. I think most of the songs that she's picked are very on brand for what the show is doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't know. I kind of felt like that when she took us back to that kind of the 80s segment and then kind of carried forward. There was a continual like forward linear movement through her career through the show, even though she did change with the songs. There were these still beats that she was definitely hitting that made sense with her story, which I think were really, really great. But there was this constant, I don't know if you noticed it, but Stewart kind of had this, there was like that dream element or that kind of like that almost like a religious kind of that hum that kind of goes in and out, and there was that kind of going in and out a lot of the songs. That's why I got that dreamlike energy from it, because it just
Mm-hmm.
felt like to me like it was, she was constantly like, or it was like this epiphany or her going back to a memory all of a sudden. That's kind of what it felt like
Right.
she was doing. Yeah,
What did you think of Stewart's production?
it was insane. It was just next level. We absolutely need the recorded album for this. The studio version of this tour will be mental. That's going to be on my running playlist for years to come. I there's a few like Madonna live playlists that I have on Spotify that I like work out to that are just amazing. This is going to add to that and be amazing. So no, he did an incredible job. I think you were right. You've said that he makes her song sound fuller when he's not on the productions explicitly. And he definitely does that. He's got an interpretation of, I think he's as much of a stan as we are, because he's clearly got an interpretation of how songs, how we talk about, how a song could have sounded or how it could have been improved. I'm sure he's got that internal monologue but he's just had the ability to take that internal monologue
Right.
and make it into a 2.5 hour show, which is amazing.
Yeah. So for listeners listening, Michael and I have spoken ad nauseum for months on end about anything in the Madonna canon, about what we want to hear, what it should sound like, what should her next song sound like,
Mm-hmm.
what should the next album sound like. I constantly back and forth, and we are, Michael, we are still being denied that new music that we know is
We
coming.
are. We are. That October release from last year. I'm still like, it still gets this loop in my head. I constantly bring it up because I'm fucking obsessed with it. But she is as well, because she was proud of it. She like showed you the music. I don't know. I think, I mean,
FYI, Michael is referring to the clip from October 2022 that Madonna, Pink Donna, shared.
Pink Donna, yes.
And everyone was wondering, is that a new song of hers? I believe it is. It's probably the new song, or a song that she did with Sickick. We have yet to hear the full song, but it's like, what is it? It's like 15 seconds. It's not even like, it's
It's
nothing.
10 seconds. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nothing. It's
it's
a
like
literal nothing. I, I,
but it sounds
I,
promising.
I don't know. I think she's going to be doing these reissues with new music, that these reissues inspired her to make new music. She's not going to give us a reissue like in the way of Taylor's done, where she's re-recorded something, or it's not going to be just like a couple of bonus tracks and some remixes, or maybe an unheard track. She's going to kind of make these, I think, these little kind of projects and bodies of work that young people or new fans can kind of jump back into her catalog again and kind of pick up, where we've all kind of been kind of dabbling in for like however many years. I think she's going to try and make these as entry points, to get back into it. And I think she's probably going to start back in the 80s, where I think a lot of people are really craving and wanting those reissues the most. And I think she's going to do it after the tour. I reckon she's going to have that. She is going to do a movie, and she's going to have that, what is it, like a year, 18 months to 2 years, where she's probably going to do the tour, her reissues on the albums that she really wants to get out first, and then go into the movie promotion, because it's going to just continue to generate positive hype, positive energy. She hasn't had this goodwill in, I can't even remember how long. I think the last time people spoke about it like this was a Super Bowl.
Right.
Um, so I think she's really kind of on the nostalgia train, but she's doing it still on her terms. And I think she's probably going to be doing that right through until, she finishes making music. But I'm very, very excited for what's to come.
Yeah, me too. I know. I am. I would just love to hear new music. Period. It's
Period. Just a song that didn't involve
something.
another artist. Just by herself. That would be great. No shade to Sam or The Weeknd. They did that last year or this year. But I would very much love a new track, please. Thank you.
Please, Madonna. All I want for Christmas.
Yeah, imagine we get that song. That would be wild.
Yeah. Well, and so tomorrow, I believe we are meant to get the Love Profusion remixes on streaming.
Fantastic. Are there any, whenever they come out, like, are there any B-sides or like demos or anything that kind of
I
was on
don't
that?
think there
Nothing on this one.
was, but there.
Okay, the last one we got was Cyber
the the remixes of Love Profusion. There's one that's pretty kick-ass that I think I always listen to.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, they're always a great way to kind of rediscover the songs, because when a lot of these songs and the remixes came out, I was, I think I was 12, 13, 14. So I kind of heard of the single. I heard of the single, but I didn't actually hear of the actual, all the other stuff that kind of came with it.
So we have at least something to look forward to that's not Christmas music.
Thank God. But I'm already done with it, and it's not even Christmas yet.
I know. Oh my, I hear it everywhere, and I'm just like, if I have to hear All I Want for Christmas one more time.
One more time. She's defrosted. I think she's overcooked. We need to put it back in the oven. I
Although
love you, Mariah.
I haven't heard Santa Baby yet from Madonna, so I've got to. I try to hold on to not hearing it. It's a little too soon. Like it's only December 7th. Like I'll go into full Christmas mode by like the week before or something. And
absolutely. And that, I mean, her version is very much like, it's kind of niche, isn't it? I don't want to be hearing that for like a month on end, months on end. I kind of want to just, it's got a moment. It's got a mood in a moment.
Yeah.
I was thinking last night, the show itself was, so incredible, but we kind of touched on this last time when I saw you as well. Imagine, she's always been one to kind of have damage control, but I feel like after Hard Candy, she kind of stopped with the very much trying to please everyone else and just kind of did whatever she wanted. I think the whole like idea for her, she got to 25 years of being super relevant and super commercial and like famous, being the pop star that I think she kind of after that, time to her kids, time to her family, time to just do whatever the hell she wants. But I did think, you know, imagine had she kind of after Hard Candy's tepid response, that kind of era not being as big as Confessions, she went and did this kind of tour and this kind of an era then to kind of bookend her career after the 25, 26 years. And to think like we could have gotten a show with that version of Madonna's physicality, but with, this kind of creativity would have been incredible. I mean, it would have been obviously a very different show. It wouldn't have been as special, I think, as this one was, but it would have been very interesting to see as she kind of still been in game on mode in that part of her career. She could have definitely have kind of, would she have put out something quite similar?
Mm.
That would have been
Although
very, yeah.
she's amazing in Hard Candy, or sorry, Sticky and Sweet. Like Sticky and Sweet, I mean, her
Oh yeah,
physicality is amazing.
it's next level. And I think, I mean, that tour was a super fun tour, but again, there are so many moments on there where it goes dark and it goes interesting, and that kind of artiste kind of comes out through her. But yeah, instead of it, we probably wouldn't have gotten MDMA, sorry. But it would have been a kind of a different element. But I think the idea of kind of having this kind of moment in her career sooner, would that have changed the trajectory of
Mm-hmm.
anything in terms of like public favor? She's kind of been battling uphill with a lot of that, in recent years, but could that have changed it sooner? I don't know. We don't know, but it's great that we're getting this regardless now. So
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think it's at a really perfect time, and I'm happy we have gotten it, and I am excited to see it again. You have to find some loose change in the sofa and pop over to the United States for an upcoming show.
that would be amazing to see her in New York. Would be just absolutely next level.
Well, you've got a month,
What's
so
the Barclays Center like? Is like that? She's playing that in Brooklyn. Is that like a big arena or is that a
yeah,
stadium? It's not a
yeah.
stadium, right?
It's an arena like Madison Square Garden
Okay.
or I'm sure like the O2. I don't know how like if one which one's bigger than the other, but yeah. So Barclays will happen next week, and
Mm-hmm.
then DC, and then Christmas, and she's got a little break before she starts back up again in 2024. So yeah, it's mother is coming back home.
She is. Do we think Mother's going to South America?
Don't know. So did you see the commercial that she looks
Yeah,
beautiful?
she looks
And
incredible.
again, I think we were talking about how, I wonder if it's a music video. Oh, it's
No,
not.
no,
It's a commercial.
it is
Uh,
a commercial.
thanks, Madonna, for raising our hopes and not meeting us. She looks great. I love that she used I'm assuming that maybe if it's not for a South American leg of the tour, she just did it to help recoup some costs from the reschedule.
Yeah, possibly, maybe. This is the same company that is sponsoring Rock in Rio, so maybe she's doing maybe a one-off performance there. That's going to be a bit like a Glastonbury or a
Yeah. Yeah.
Coachella vibe.
Right. She might do like festival type stuff, like she might do Glastonbury. She might do this Rock in Rio, like instead of doing an official like stadium leg of the show. Or it might be part of that. Who knows? I
I
mean,
mean, she's a perfectionist, right? But it would be manageable, I think, between maybe possibly setting up the movie commitment. Did you hear Baz Luhrmann's maybe attached to this movie?
no, you sent me that. I think no, I don't think he's part of it. I think he's just commenting on he was maybe approached, or I don't think
We can
he's
hope. We can hope and pray. Don't take that away.
no, he said in that interview though, he said he doesn't have it in him to do another movie musical right now.
Mm,
After because he
mm,
just did Elvis and he's like, I can't do it. I can't do another
yeah.
musical. No, that
Okay.
that was confirmation that we think the movie is still happening, which I assumed it was, because that's why she was doing the tour to help. It'll help generate, you know, more interest about the movie, and then the biopic will come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think Baz Luhrmann. Madonna's doing this herself. She's not letting Baz Luhrmann come in direct her story.
I mean, even for like the little like nuggets of like prettiness though, and like the visuals, I mean, he's so
I mean,
good
it'd
with
be
that. It was,
amazing. Yeah, but it's gonna be all Madonna.
that worries me. I think she's incredible when she's got people to tell her no and to kind of just rein her in just a little bit. So I'm hoping she finds her Stuart Price or her Babyface or her William Orbit as in terms of someone that's a director or movie equivalent that can kind of harness her vision and kind of take it there because she's great obviously when she collaborates, but she needs that kind of that sidekick, I
I'm sure
think.
she'll have a someone to bounce ideas off of and help her
Yeah.
with technical questions and whatnot. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what she comes up with for the biopic.
What are you most looking forward to seeing now that you're going to see her a couple more times? Is there anything like now that you've seen it a couple of times over here that you're most keen to see?
Yeah, well, so the tickets that I have for DC, it's are pit tickets. So I'm super excited to be that up close again because the tickets I had in Paris were not close, but I didn't mind because I got to sort of see the show from afar and take it in. And so I'm excited to sort of like, when you're in the pit like that, you're part of the show. So I'm excited about that. And then my tickets in January in Philly, I'm fourth row
Okay.
from the main stage where she comes out for Nothing Really Matters.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect.
so I'm super excited to be that close because I'm dying to see Nothing Really Matters and Holiday and Bitch I'm Madonna that up close. Like I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I'm just so especially Holiday. Like I think I was telling you, like I'm obsessed with Holiday. I was listening to the Chic album today,
Yes.
and just because I wanted to hear I Want Your Love, and I'm telling you, disco music and violins, like
Yeah.
I'm that satiates me to no end. And so I love that she put that Chic moment in Holiday and that choreography. I can't get over it.
Oh,
So
that
I'm
was
like, I'm
amazing.
so excited to see that up close. I'm totally filming it. Like I know we've so many people have filmed it and it's all over YouTube, but I don't care. I need to take that home with me on my phone. So
That was such a special surprise. I think again, like none of the videos that you see do that kind of performance any kind of justice. And then you see them all kind of slowly, kind of they're all dancing around the stage, and they come together, and then they do that. They drop into that segment and that choreo with that part of the song. Chef's kiss, like it was perfect. And then it gets a bit dark, but that moment was just
well, but
I
even how it gets dark, I love that it goes into that all of a sudden. Like I trip out that she's able to take this joyous, buoyant moment of Holiday and the story of her life about, like how it goes. She's going into the club and she's telling a story, and it's like it just slaps you at the, like pulls the rug out from underneath you so quick, where it then moves into that beautiful moment of in this life and then live
Mhm.
to tell. Like I love the transition of that.
I think I mean I didn't live through that period, but she gave you a sense through almost a very like almost as in a musical what that kind of experience like was for her.
Yeah.
Losing all of these people, and the people that kind of I think one of the projections, so many of them were either famous people, but a lot of them I think were just her really close friends. Um,
Until the very end. Like, so I think it starts with famous people and friends, and then it just goes into um, the contribution from the AIDS memorial, where it's just people after people after people that were lost over the years.
Absolutely. I think, this concert to me, I think was her thank you to the gay community, the queer community. I think there was as much of celebrating herself as there was of her celebrating us. And it
Yeah.
wasn't just, wearing the flag, it wasn't just that performance. There was every performance, I think, is just oozing with queerness and is oozing with, gay iconography. I think that was just so well done.
Well, I mean, look at her dancers. I mean, all these they're gender fluid, non-binary.
Mhm.
It's amazing. It's the her.
And can we talk about them for a second? How incredible they were! Like I've not seen her, I think, engage with dancers on stage like that since. some of her earlier shows, they really felt so close and like a family. That was just again beautiful to watch. They were all so incredible. I I know we've seen this interlude a few times, but the Beast Within was one of my favorite moments in the show. It was so dark. It was so almost like post-apocalyptic. Again, I want to see her play in these worlds visually on an album or a song where, could she dabble in something like that where she gets really kind of we get Cyber and Madonna out for like a few songs on a record where it's really dark and it's really kind of, interesting like that. I love that part. I thought that was fantastic. I could feel the heat and I was quite far away and I could feel the fire um all the way up in my seat. So it was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Well, Michael, I know it's late and you've got to work tomorrow, so I don't want to keep you. But before you go, I think we've done this with you in the past, but we're gonna do it again because it's my show. I can do it if I want. It's time for a little segment we like to call the lightning round. As you know, these answers are meant
Hey.
to be quick off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey today. So I'm
Mm.
sure the answers have changed maybe from the last time you did the lightning round. Favorite Madonna song?
Um, we're gonna go with Cyber. Let's deep cut this shit. I think I picked Hanky Panky last time, so
You're
like
the only
we
one
can
that I
only
think
get
will
better.
ever have said Cyber Raga on this podcast for a favorite Madonna
I'm
song.
okay.
That's not your favorite Madonna song.
I think it's got quite a lot of hits this week on Spotify. So if it's of the minute,
Okay.
it's gonna be
Okay.
her. She's
Who
the
am I
one.
to tell you what your favorite Madonna song of the moment is? Favorite Madonna album?
As of right now, well, if we're keeping it like as of right now, it's gonna be Hard Candy. I've been playing that a lot this last week, and I hated that album for the longest time. But it's just
Stop
something
it.
about it.
What? M
Yeah, I just
Dalla? How
like it.
could you hate M Dalla?
Amdala, Amdala. She cheap. No, I. There's just something quite infectious about it now. Without the whole like, you know, it sounds dated. It sounds like this. It's quite cool just to kind of listen to that record and just kind of
Yeah, I mean, Michael, you know what? Say what you like, do what you feel. I know exactly who you are.
I see what you did there. I was jamming to Invincible the other day, and I was like, okay, there's some kind of weird timeline that I've stepped into. I
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
what's
no, not
happened.
invincible.
Incredible,
Incredible.
sorry.
Incredible. Oh
Yeah.
God. I was like, where have we gone here?
Yeah.
Favorite Madonna music video?
Mm, bedtime stories.
Good one.
Yeah.
Favorite Madonna tour?
Celebration.
Nice. Favorite Madonna movie?
There's only one that I like watching her in, and that's A League of Their Own.
Oh, only one. Really?
Only yes. Really?
Desperately Seeking Susan?
Yeah. It's a bit of a mood and a moment for me, but I can always watch A League of Their Own and feel good.
Who's that girl?
Uh,
Ah,
I didn't like her
justice,
hair.
justice for Nikki Finn. Nikki Finn forever.
Oh
Favorite Madonna look, and this can be from a photo shoot, a tour, a movie.
shit. I'm gonna go with last night when she donned that sparkly sequin glass cat suit. That I it's been a long time since I've taken a bit of a gasp when she's walked out and done something like that. And that for me has been one of those moments. So that is of the moment one of my all-time favorite looks from this tour. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's perfect for the songs that she's singing too.
Absolutely. And then she wraps herself up in that big cape and kind of gives you the full circle moment with Rain, which was beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. All right. Well, everybody, that's our show for today. Michael, thanks for coming on and telling us all about your experience. Tell everybody where they can follow you and your adventures on Instagram.
I think just by name, Michael Politakis, Politakis on
Yeah,
the
I
surname.
was gonna say I know that how to spell that in my head. I've spelled it enough times. So and remember,
um,
everybody, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at MLVC Podcast. If you'd like to donate to the show, we are on Venmo at MLVC Podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video. We're going to be finishing out this year with a couple more reviews, and then we'll be back in 2024 with a whole bunch of more reviews of people watching and experiencing Madonna and the Celebration Tour. Michael, you can take us out with some spoken word if you'd like while I'm finding the button to turn us off. So
That is absolutely not happening. Push, push, push the fucking button, babe.